thank you for joining me today. This is going to be a deep and detailed conversation about the Dallas Cowboys and one of the most complicated situations surrounding the team right now. We are talking about Trevon Diggs, the salary cap injuries, trust, and the future direction of the Cowboys. This is not a quick take. This is not a hot take. This is a full breakdown meant for the Leo fans who want to understand what is actually happening behind the scenes. Trevon Diggs arrived in the Dallas Cowboys as a talented young cornerback with elite ball skills. From early in his career, he showed something special. He was not just covering receivers, he was attacking the football. Interception, big plays, momentum-changing moments that become his identity. For a while, Diggs was one of the faces of the Cowboys' defense. Fans trusted him, coach relied on him, opposing quarterbacks feared throwing his way. This is why this situation hurts so much for many fans. This is not a random role player. This is someone who was expected to be a cornerstone of the defense for many years. The problem did not begin during the game. They started during the off-season. During the summer, Trevon Diggs chose to do his injury rehabilitation away from the team facility. The Cowboys did not approve of that decision. As a result, Diggs was fined $500,000 United States dollars. That fine was not just about money, it sent a message. It showed that the relationship between the player and the organization was already under stress. From that point forward, everything Diggs did was viewed through different lenses. In the National Football League, trust is everything. Teams trust players to follow the program. Players trust teams to protect their careers and health. Once that trust breaks, it is extremely difficult to repair. With Diggs, it felt like both sides stopped believing they were fully aligned. The team questioned his decisions. Diggs questioned the team's intentions. This is how small issues turn into a big problem. Early this season, Trevon Diggs was benched. That alone raised eyebrows. Benching a player of his status is not something teams do casually. Soon after, reports of the concussion surfaced. The details were unclear. Fans did not fully understand what happening. Then came the knee injury which continued to limit him. Eventually, Cowboys placed Diggs on injury reserve. At that point, many believed his season was likely over. The Cowboys later opened Diggs' 21-day practice window. This is usually a signal that a player is closer to returning to action, but something strange happened. Diggs practiced, but he was never activated to the active roster. Week after week passed, the window kept shrinking. Questions grew louder. Why open the window if you are not going to activate him? Now, with only few weeks left in the season, the situation has reached to the critical point. If Trevon Diggs is not activated soon, he will be ruled out of the remainder of the year. That means his last snap as a Cowboy may already be behind him. For a player once seen as a future of the defense, that is turn of the events. Multiple reports suggest that the relationship between Trevon Diggs and the Cowboys has been severely damaged. Some even says it has been completely resolved. There have been mixed messages from the team and from the Diggs himself. One side suggests patience, the other suggests frustration. Fans are left trying to read between the lines. Sometimes, no matter how talented player is, the environment becomes unhealthy. At that point, staying together hurts both sides. For Diggs, a new team could mean a clean slate. New coach, new expectation, a chance to rest his career. For the Dallas, moving on could mean clarity and financial flexibility. The salary cap reality currently. Cowboys cannot ignore the financial side of this situation. Trevon Diggs signed a 5-year contract worth of $97 million United States dollars. That is elite money. Elite money comes with elite expectations. If a player cannot stay on field, the team must reconsider that investment. If Cowboys release or trade Diggs before June 1st, they would save approximately $12.5 million in salary cap space. However, they would also take on nearly $6 million in dead cap money. This option allows Dallas to move quickly, but it is not a deal idea financially. Waiting until after June 1st changes everything. Dallas could save up to the $15.5 million while keeping the dead cap hit under $3 million. This is the smartest financial move. The question is whether Cowboys are willing to wait. The Cowboys may want answer before free agency begins. They may want clarity before the NFL draft. Waiting until June 1st could complicate those plans. This is where strategy came into play. This season, Diggs has played only 6 games. He recovered 18 tackles. He did not record any interception. He did not record any pass breakup. For a player known for creating turnovers, that is alarming. Since signing his massive contract extension, Diggs has played in only 19 of the 43 games. That is not enough. In the National Football League, the best ability is availability. If the Cowboys move on from Diggs, the defense will need answer. Who replaces him? Do they draft a cornerback? Do they sign a veteran? These decisions shape the entire offseason. Fans are emotionally attached to the Diggs, but front office must think logically. This is the hardest part of the building a team. Jerry Jones has never been afraid of big moves. This will be one of the biggest decisions of the offseason. Does he choose loyalty or does he choose flexibility? As soon as the season ends, Trevon Diggs' name will dominate headlines, trade rumors, cut rumors, speculations everywhere. This decision impacts the free agents, of course, and it impacted the draft for the Dallas Cowboys. It impacts also salary cap for the Eagles. Trevon Diggs' situation is about more than one player. It is about culture, trust, health, and direction. Cowboys are standing at a crossroads. Whatever choice they make will define their offseason and possibly their future. Thank you for watching. A night that did not just feel like a normal loss, but a night that quietly closed the door on the Cowboys' playoff hopes. The Cowboys still had a chance. It was not an easy chance. It was not a big chance, but it was a real chance. All Dallas had to do was win out. 4 games, 4 wins, then hope for help from other teams. But instead of the stepping up when it mattered most, the Cowboys trembled at home against the Minnesota Vikings. And with that loss, the season changed completely. The playoff path before this game, Cowboys were sitting at 6 wins, 6 losses, and 1 tie. The math was difficult, but it was clear. Win the last 4 games, finish with 10 wins, 6 losses, and 1 tie. Then hope at least 1 or 2 teams ahead of your collapse. This game against Minnesota mattered because it was one of the easiest games left on the schedule. Vikings were under 500. The Cowboys were at home. The crowd was ready. This was a moment to show life. The game actually started well for the Dallas on the very fast pace by the Vikings quarterback, Jack McTee. The Cowboys defense made a big play. Donovan Wilson got a hand on the ball. The pass plopped into the air. Quinnen Williams made this interception. This is exactly how you want to start a must-win game. The Cowboys' offense took an advantage. They were used to fake field goal to keep the drive alive. Running back Javonte Williams finished it with a touchdown. At that moment, everything felt possible. But after the opening drive, things started to fall apart. The Cowboys' defense could not slow down McAtee. This was a young quarterback who had struggled early in the season. Against Dallas, he looked confident. He threw deep passes. He stood tall in the pockets. He played the best game of his professional career. This has become a painful pattern for the Cowboys defense in 2025. The average quarterback suddenly looked great, and this game was not different. Brian Flores versus Brian Schottenheimer. During this game, Minnesota defensive coordinator Brian Flores clearly won the coaching chess match. Cowboys offense looked hesitant. It looked cautious. It looked unsure. Brian Schottenheimer play scoring became consecutive at the worst possible time. Short passes, predictable runs, very little creative when it mattered most. The Vikings defense dictated the game, not the Cowboys offense. This is never a good sign. Here is one of the most important stats from the game. Cowboys converted only 2 of the 12 third downs. This is not winning football. This is not play football. Dallas moved the ball between 20s, but once they reached scoring territory, everything started. Bad decision, questionable play calls, missed opportunities, and then come to another problem. Kickers Brandon Aubrey has been one of the most reliable players on the entire roster, but this night was different. Aubrey missed 2 field goals. Those points mattered. In a must-win game, every point matters. A margin for error was already small. Those misses made it even smaller. By the end of the night, the Vikings had scored 34 points. This marked the 7th time this season that the Cowboys allowed 30 or more points. That is tied for the most of the National Football League. The team that gives up that many big games on the defense does not survive in the December. It is that simple. Early on the Sunday, things actually block the Cowboys' way. The Green Bay Packers lost. Detroit Lions lost. Carolina Panthers lost. This was a help for the Dallas needed, but it did not matter because the Cowboys could not take care of their own business. When you waste help like that, the season slips away. With the loss, the Cowboys are effectively out of the wild card race. The only remaining path is almost impossible. Dallas will need a win their final 3 games, and the Philadelphia Eagles would need to lose their final 3 games. That is not realistic. The loss did not officially end of the season, but unofficially did. Now, Cowboys are back under 500 then, and they might be eliminated before they even play again. Philadelphia plays Washington on Saturday. If Eagles win, Dallas is done. Even if the Cowboys survive another week, the road ahead is brutal. Next up, Dallas host the 10-4 losses Los Angeles Chargers. That is not an easy matchup for the team struggling with the confidence and the consistency. At this point, the focus shifts not to the playoffs but to the evaluation. Who is a part of the future? Who is not? What changes need to be made? Cowboys did not rise in the biggest moments, they shrunk. And the National Football League December football tells you exactly who are you. This loss to the Vikings was not just another big loss, it was the moment the season slipped away. Cowboys had a chance, they had a help, they had a home field, but when it mattered most, they could not put it together. Now, all that is left is to finish the season with the pride and start preparing for the very important off-season. Thank you for watching. Opposing quarterbacks feared throwing his way. This is why this situation hurts so much for many fans. This is not a random role player. This is someone who was expected to be a cornerstone of the defense for many years. The problem did not begin during the game. They started during the off-season. During the summer, Trevon Diggs chose to do his injury rehabilitation away from the team facility. The Cowboys did not approve of that decision. As a result, Diggs was fined $500,000 United States dollars. That fine was not just about money, it sent a message. It showed that the relationship between the player and the organization was already under stress. From that point forward, everything Diggs did was viewed through different lenses. In the National Football League, trust is everything. Teams trust players to follow the program. Players trust teams to protect their careers and health. Once that trust breaks, it's extremely difficult to repair. With Diggs, it felt like both sides stopped believing they were fully aligned. The team questioned his decisions. Diggs questioned the team's intentions. This is how small issues turn into a big problem. Early this season, Trevon Diggs was benched. That alone raised eyebrows. Benching a player of his status is not something teams do casually. Soon after, reports of the concussion surfaced. The details were unclear. Fans did not fully understand what happened. Then came the knee injury, which